Shalom, family. Shalom. Glory be to God and blessed be the Lamb as always. Happy ever. You know, we live in a cruel world, a world pretty much where love is mechanical, fungible, like money. Shit. Some people even confuse sex with love. They really do. I've heard it with my own mouth. But that would be people who are spiritually consumed by the world for the most part. It's funny how let's not to get into that, but that ain't what I want to talk about. There's been a slew of white people, a ever growing chorus of white people warning black people about other white people. This is appreciated. But have we ever asked ourselves, why do they feel like they have to warn us? And then after thinking about that, um, because that's kind of weird. We grew up with them. I went to school with them. I always been around them. That's what makes me a little strange, peculiar, particular. I was always around them. Anyway, with that being said, it's kind of weird though. White people suggesting that black people stay the hell away from other white people. You guys are going to have a civil war sooner or later. I mean, white people and white people. This is why, once again, you have to make sure you kill everybody. I know that sounds horrible, but it's hard to kill an ideology. And if you're going to do it, and if you can do it, you have to really want to do it. Ideologies exist in one's mind, wrapped in an emotional state, coded by culture, and finally rendered as a manifestation outwardly into society. Look at those words. That was almost a word gumbo, wasn't it? A word salad. So keep up. Keep up. You know, but here's what's happening. Here's what's happening as to why we keep finding ourselves in these precarious positions. Did you know, starting in 1969, 1970, the American government had as a policy of removing the father from the home, a policy. I grew up in it. Around that same time, they would enter your home and you better not have a toaster, and electric heater, or one of them fancy gas was either. You better not have a microwave. You better not have anything in there that would not intone abject poverty. People had to hide things in their closets, and sometimes they would search the closets. I'm not making this up. This is on this street and the other street and the other street, all across America. This was how they decided if the women and children got benefits or not. And it's funny. It's funny because in later years, a lot of women would find themselves in the position of telling men to not make them choose between them and their children. But evidently it was white supremacy that made them choose between themselves, the children, and their men. Let that sink in too. 1969, 1970, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78. I think it finally started. No, it never really tapered off. Because in the 80s and 90s, they made sure that they gave single women housing, apartments with no man unless they didn't get any housing. Further, the furtherance of the elder policy, which is to keep the man from the woman and child at all cost. At all cost. And that's what they did. Decade after decade after decade after decade after decade. And before that, when they wanted to psychologically, and it worked. It worked. The Willie Lynch method works. Worked. A, torture the woman's man or her husband in front of her and the children and make them watch and then kill them, forcing them into submission. And a lot of them have been in submission ever since to Charlie over there. To Charlie over there. And that makes Charlie a high value target. That makes Mr. Charlie a high value target because he must die in their eyes now. Anyway, I'm drifting. That's like a fantasy. But anyway, what did this lead to? Well, the keepers of the history, the very people who the stories and the histories and the experiences of being black and male and black generally in this country was removed from the family, leaving the woman both vulnerable and in a submissive state and a society that already hates her. You get it? That would answer the questions as to why white people feel they have to remind us with things like, when have we not killed you? Can you name a time from day one? Shit, we were even killing you on the ship over here. And we anyway, you can't explain this except by that. Okay? Their mothers were not able to pass down the history because, quite frankly, in that kind of submissive nature, is just the opposite. They're not trying to raise fighters, warriors. No, they're they're trying to raise sons that Mr. Charlie won't want to kill. See, to never stand as men, never stand straight. Else Mr. Charlie might come by and see the straightness in that young lad and want to chop him down like a tree, and will, and did. Quite frankly, Mr. Charlie has never had a real issue with hanging black bodies from age 8 to age 80. I looked at it down the picture. It looked like the tree was was flowering or fruiting Negroes. It had to be 40 people hanging in the same tree at the same time. Think about that. Words are everything. Know what I use words for? I use words to paint pictures in one's mind. Paint pictures. I'm sure others have their other definitions, but my usage of words is to paint pictures in one's mind that otherwise wouldn't be there. But for me, see, we just paint pictures. That's all. That's all words are. A paintbrush in one's mind, from one to the other, and to the other to the one, depending on perspective, ideology, culture, race, economic factors, and blah, 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 blah. There are 8 to 10 different variables. 8 to 10 different variables at least. However, how do you fix the problem? I mean, of you people getting killed. I mean, I want to say, listen, let's be straight. You're getting killed out there. You're getting killed out there, man. But in many ways, I don't even want to talk about that. I mean, because the Bible is so clear that this would happen. It's clear that this would happen. Well, anyway, like I was saying, there is a reason. There were reasons why they wanted the farther gone, such as they had reasons from when Judah separated from the rest of the tribes. Get it? Everything has a reason, and one of that reason is because the male had provided security and knowledge passed down from father to father to father, going back thousands of years. And then they, Mr. Charlie, them appeared on the horizon. It really is just that simple. They appeared on many horizons. Some tribes were in the middle of hating the living shit out of each other. And then came Mr. Charlie. And then came Mr. Charlie. Now, this ain't about Mr. Charlie. It ain't about really black people being killed. Because everything, I mean, I don't want to belittle anything. Man, there's so many fractures in this society, but everything is connected. And nothing is in vain. Nothing is empty. Everything matters. Every word, every deed, every act, every thought. It all matters now in each individual. It all matters. But at the same time, it doesn't matter. I mean, because it's not going to alter the end. It's not going to alter the end by no means. The end can't be altered. The minute Satan failed, and when I say failed, he failed to stop our arrival. He failed. Can't you see that? He failed. You think he didn't try? He tried over and over and over and over again. But I think what God lost him at is when God said, I will speed, I will speed things up. And from that point on, he's been pretty much discombobulated and unbalanced. He don't know where this game is now. And neither do you. And me, I don't have to know. Okay? I mean, I don't have to know because each move that we make, we being source, is a move toward the end. We never repeat the same strategies or actions or tactics twice, only once. Then we move on to the next, and then the next, and the next, and each phase moves us closer and closer to what the Bible terms as the final battle, the end. It really is quite that dry and quite that simple and quite that straightforward. It only becomes more than that because you're in it. You're in it. I mean, you are the ones who are going to be doing some of the fighting and the dying and the screaming and the gnashing of teeth and running your ass around, thirsty and misery and suffering. It's a whole lot of shit that's going to happen. That's going to happen. And, you know, you would think that I know in my generation, we understood that we understood that we could show up beat up, bloodied, and bruised at any moment in time, and we acted accordingly, all the way up into integration. Integration drove people mad. See? Well, it drove them mad. They believed there is no equal. There's no equal. See? They live in a world that was created in their heads. There is no equal. Nothing means equality. Opportunity doesn't mean that. Money doesn't mean that. Privilege doesn't mean that. Connections don't mean that. Nothing means that. It's all, what's the word I'm looking for? Associative. It's all associative. It's what you associate with certain things inside one's own head. Inside one's own head. You know, I've never quite been that way. So actually, for me to be even talking about it would be something that I've observed starting in 1994. I just started watching people. Wasn't nothing else better to do. I was in the thick of it, but still, I just observed people. I've seen some strange things. I've seen some strange things. I've lived in areas that was so bad that when you woke up in the morning, you literally didn't know what you were going to wake up to. I lived in a area where on a hot summer night, standing on the patio, you can feel you can feel the evil in the air. I lived in an area where the oak tree next to the tennis court had claimed body after body after body after body, not by hanging, but by shooting at each other, and even a couple of police killed them back there. The same oak tree, over and over and over again. It was so prevalent. Violence was so damn prevalent on that same patio. Man, people are crazy, man. You know, a white guy on a bike in a black neighborhood. I'm on the patio. I don't really mess around at this time. At some future time, I would eventually, but at that time, I wasn't. But so he's riding by me, and we make eye contact. And in his mind, everybody black know what some dope is. So I decided I'm going to warn him. I'm going to try to warn you. Okay, you want to know where you ride further up the sidewalk and to the right. You're going to see some youngsters out there. And then I say, it's better if you just go home. Turn around, get back on your bike. This is not the night. Go the fuck home. Go somewhere else. It's Friday night, rob night. I don't tell him that part. It was a hood secret. Friday night, rob night. My point is, he rode his ass down there anyway and got beat up. He was holding his own. I could see at least half the scuffle down the sidewalk. I mean, he was stabbing his own ground at first, but as they backed him off the sidewalk, he forgot to step down, and he stumbled and fell. And they was on his ass after that, on his ass. He somehow he manages to uh, come out the crowd. There was at least six people beating on him. Looked like he just squeezed through the pack. Okay. And he squirted out of the crowd and grabbed the bike. And now he's riding back toward me. And a car had passed by him slightly and opened the door. He hit the door and flipped over the window, and they went to beating his ass again. And they took everything. It wasn't that folks wanted it. It was just Friday night rob night. Ain't nobody doing nothing. Ain't nobody selling nothing. Ain't nobody trading nothing. If you bring your ass up in here, that's not how you gonna leave. I would wake up in the morning, man, listen here. I woke up, I mean, I'm just trying to paint a picture of the violence that we have lived in as black people. This is not new to us when you're black and impoverished and live in projects and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? It's to be thought of as a socioeconomic indicator, not to be taken personally. It's just a description. I've left my freaking apartment on the way on to work, I passed by my neighbor in the next building. He's standing at the top of his stairs, shaking like a chihuahua. He's an older gentleman. He would be my age now and small. He's shaking like a chihuahua, but I'm gonna miss this bus. I don't have time to talk to him. So as I'm jogging toward the bus stop, the man in front of me he heard my footsteps. I don't know what went through his mind. Yes, I do. But as I got closer to him, he unzipped his jacket and pulled a pistol on me. And I'm like, I mean, I don't fear the shit. I say, dog, I'm finna go to work, man. He said, say, man, just don't fuck with me. I ain't finna fuck with you. I just kept it moving. I just kept it moving. Shit. Oh, hell, I've been getting off from work. I'm walking across the tennis court, and here's a group of 4 men. I mean, they on, boy, y'all don't even know, dangerously high with guns. Not all there with guns, but it's Friday night raw night. I got off of work at 9. I made it home at 10:30 or so. Okay? I'm walking across the fucking tennis court. Here comes this group of guys like out the fog. Okay? They all got guns. One of them clearly had a 12 gauge pump. And, and as they approach me, I make an angle toward the alley that I have to walk down. And they they changed their angle of walk at the same time. So I understood in no way was I not gonna bump into them. So I just stopped before I even got to the alley. I just stopped. I put my bag down. I had on a backpack. I put the backpack down, and I just stopped. I looked at them, and they walked up to me. He um he pumps the 12 gauge and say, "You know what it is?" And I look at him. I say, "Motherfucker, I live here." And one of them looked at me up and down, and looked at me again up and down. He say, man, he do live here. And then they turn around and walk into the goddamn park like nothing had happened. Anyway, man, my point is there shouldn't be a need for us to not have understood by now what type of society we live in. My introduction was brutal. I didn't know I was black. I didn't know I was Negro. I didn't know. I most definitely did not understand that I was a N word. I'm trying to keep it clean, so the editor, somewhere between here and my editor, they're gonna do something. I mean, between TikTok and my editor, if I use the word, something's gonna happen. Trust me on that. So we'll stick with N word. Like I heard one white guy say, "Ooga oogas." Man, what's wrong with you guys? I mean, what is really ailing you? Because there ain't black people. It's something deeper than that. Maybe we'll chit chat about that later. But it's something deeper than that. It's spiritual. It's ritualistically. I mean, I've never thought that I would apply the word ritualistic and hatred in the same sentence. It's kind of weird. They shouldn't be side by side, but yet there it is, because anything that you do over and over and over and over again becomes ritualistic. I don't give a damn what it is. It becomes ritualistic. At some point, it don't have to be spiritual. It doesn't have to be religious. It don't have to have the overtones of religion or on the belief for it to be ritualistic. Period. Period. And the hatred in this country from that guy's ilk is ritualistic, especially in the South. And like I asked on the previous audio, do you believe that the South is going to rise again? Do you believe that the South is going to rise again, that the Confederacy will somehow remake itself and reshape itself? But I can see why you would feel that way. You have all of the mechanisms in place. You really do, and you've been utilizing them too. You've been utilizing them too. I know that I've drifted a little bit. I mean, it's because there's no need for us to speak on the obvious because we we're not going to do it honestly. We're not going to do it honestly. Someone's going to be offended. That's the truth. That's why I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to do it unless I'm going to speak on it honestly, and that means bringing in the race issue because it cannot be talked about without talking about the race issue and also speaking about interracial, racial, no, sexual intersectionality when it comes to black people and white people. See there? Already red flags shot up. Bing, bing, because you don't want to hear it. It's hard for you to stomach. You know why? Because engaged both races have engaged against their fathers. I mean, that would be pretty damn obvious from the start. We know that's man, we know it's obvious. You know how many of us have lost our lives for just one of them thinking that we thought one of their daughters was cute. I mean, I'm just saying. Now, fast forward. Ask yourself, what are we doing? Make it make sense. See, we can't make it make sense without being honest, without being straight. And you can't take it, especially here in the South. You can't take it. However, sooner or later, I'm going to have to hit you with some psychological blunt force trauma. You're just going to have to take it. Okay? You've taken everything else. You've taken over half of the truth, and you're still breathing. Some of you have even been set free. Others of you, the damn truth have moved you so much that you tried to kill me 6 times. That's okay. Believe it or not, I'm not even mad. I don't know why. I used to be, but I'm not even mad about that. I mean, shit is so far up the road that there's just no stopping anything anymore. It's like I keep saying, everything matters as per my calculations. I mean, when I say everything matters, this don't got nothing to do with God. This has everything to do with my strategies and my tactics. Mine, all mine. See there, I told you, God is God, and we are source. He makes a move on his chessboard. I study it, and I say, aha, I think I know where you're going with it. Where my chessboard at? That's the move. That's the move that's going to help his move. Okay? There's nothing more than that. If you're making more than that, then you're selling yourself short in the vein of you're not. You have to think of your enemy. Think of your enemy. A lot of people in this country have deemed themselves enemies. They should think and want to know how their enemy thinks. What makes them tick? See? How do they analyze? What is their thought process? Anyway, you should want to know these things. You should want to know these things. Anyway, at the 30-minute mark, listen, We know. And unless we be straight, and a lot of us don't want to be straight, it's so, I mean, there are multiple reasons for the separation to happen. One of them is we can handle the truth. We can handle the truth. Like I said, I've been called many things, many bad things too. I've even been called the devil to my face. You I mean, goodness gracious, I was called Satan. And I'm like, let me go and check the record. Okay, because I can see where you're going with this, and I can see how you may feel this way. Or maybe I'm just your devil. Maybe I'm just your temporary in your life for this moment in time devil. Now that I can understand, and I still wouldn't be mad. Sometimes that's how shit is. But no one has to tell us. We know. It's those who, may I be frank, and then we're going to leave this topic and go on to something else. But may I be frank? We know, and we also know that there is a class, socioeconomic class, and you can break it down by class and race at the same time, and you're going to find this type of sexual integration, even if it kills them, even if it kills them. Okay? Moving on. Moving on. Now, where was I even going with it? I had something else in mind. You know, everything is spiritual. Everything. Believe me. Everything is spiritual. Every word, every move, every action, every deed. Without the greater takeover, everything wouldn't be spiritual. I mean, it would just be you being you. But after the great takeover, then everything is spiritual. You are, the living is caught up in or caught between, man, a spiritual war. A spiritual war that's going to end badly, that's moving far too slow for me, far too slow. I'm more of a tactician. And I've already done the math that the longer it takes to initiate the war and end the war, the more innocent people will die. I've done the math on that already. See, I've done the math on it. As we sit here, murders are going to happen. They wouldn't have happened in the face. I mean, in the face of a raging war. Nope. Everything goes down in the face of a raging war. Even, even the crime rate goes down in the face of a raging war. Everybody seems to find some type of solidarity with some other human being in the face of a raging war. They always do. It is a pity that they didn't do it before the face of the raging war. But trust me, they always do. All their differences fall to the wayside. Why? Death is around every corner. And the sound of it is always around just the next street, 100 yards away, maybe a mile away. You hear the boom, 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 boom. Solidarity, unity. Even though it's driven by selfishness and the will for individual survival. It ain't real love, but it'll do. It'll do. It keeps a lot more people alive. Two can survive better than one. At least that's what they tell me. Two can survive better than one. That's what they tell me. I mean, about you as a human species. Did you know that? That they say that kind of stuff about you? But you already know. You already know. Everything is spiritual quotes. Everything. Okay. It's hard for me to like really give a damn when everything is like this and I know it. It's hard for me to give a damn. I never see the person. I never see the person. I know the person is there, but I never see the person. And that person never sees me. I know that too. So we got a wicked game here. A wicked game. But let's shift gears a little bit, but stay on the spiritual side of things. At the beginning of this, 2015, maybe 16, 17, 18, somewhere in there, some parts of my life are more than a blur. They are a blur. I don't care how long something happened. I mean, it's like it was a blur. I don't remember it long. It's like looking out of a passenger side window as the images fly by you. You see them, but you experience them, but you don't really remember them because it doesn't have that kind of value. Every situation is just like the last. It doesn't matter if it's a different face or a different place. It's just a different situation brought to you by human hands and human face and human tongues and mouths and lips. That's all. End of story. And there will be one after that, as there was one before that. And repetition, like speed bumps in one's life. Just speed bumps. They don't stop you. They they just kind of slow you down. But but otherwise, there's no there there. No there there. Once you understand what I understand, there's no there there. There's just the human mechanics. It's just the human mechanics. I'm going to tell you something. God put me to sleep. Huh. I mean, goodness gracious. God put me to sleep, not in the vein that you would think of, but sleep in the vein like what they are now. What they are now, except from the position of heavenly righteousness. When God wanted to insert something or remove something or to shape something at the earlier stages, one of his methods, at least one time, was to put me to sleep. And I was walking around sleep. My body was just going through the pattern and the mechanics of what I did yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. I was not there. It was so surreal. And when I came out of it, which it started on a Friday, when I woke up, I thought it was Saturday, but actually it was Tuesday. And I walked downstairs and I stood in the washroom and I asked God, please don't do that again. There has to be another method. That one was kind of weird. But anyway, everything is spiritual. The ritualistic killing, and it is ritualistic. It's, it's ritualistic over decades now. In fact, if I'm just being straight with you, I don't see how they stopped it without being stopped. I just don't. It's ingrained. It's ingrained. I mean, I don't like saying these type of things. I really don't. I'm glad that I'm not speaking on the whole of the Caucasian race. That's the only saving grace. The only saving grace. But but all things being equal, they pretty much killed everybody at one time or the other. And again, man, we're not talking about you have to see beyond the veil here. You see white people. I don't see white people. Nope. I see something inside posing as a white people. Okay? As they try to turn God against every white people. which they would have easily done if I wasn't here. Easily. What's sad about this here is I started off as a militant. I was militantly black and quite secretive. I'm going to tell you how secretive, how long this game has been going on. You know, at work one day, or was it right after work? I think, yeah, it was right after work. I drove up and all my people were sitting on the stairs blowing blunts and drinking a beer. I can't wait to get upstairs and hop a shower and get out there with them. So I get out the car, I walk toward the stairs, and then I started talking to them. And I don't know how the conversation got on this, but whatever we were talking about, it turned to the conversation of Oreo. And for those who don't know what an Oreo is somebody who's black that act white and talk proper and use big words. That's an Oreo. But it's deeper than that. It's deeper than the physical attributes. It's a psychological and emotional stance, a bent, rather, not a stance, but a psychological bent. Look it up if you don't know what none of this shit means. Okay, but I said to them, they think and like I said, I've been the only black person on job site after job site after job site, surrounded by nothing but them. Well, it was a couple of essays in there also, but mostly them. Mostly them. Okay. And the sad thing is, I after I made the statement, which was they think that they have an Oreo working for them because I listen to rock music and stuff, and I may even show up at the company barbecue. But what they don't see is they ass been infiltrated. Now, when I made that statement, would you, some of the black people sitting on those stairs was clearly disturbed by what I had just said. If that sink in, they were disturbed by what I had just said. Black people, black black people were hell who hail from a history of having every torturous method of death visited upon them at their hands. It's hard to fathom, isn't it? It's hard to fathom, okay? But there it is. There it is. Only God knows why. Well, that's a stretch. It's not rocket science. And it's not something that man himself is going to undo. Not today and not tomorrow or the day after that. It ain't going to happen. But what's going to happen is what has been written. What has been written. There's a time to get back to other topics and speak about other things. We haven't forgotten, but we are in the middle of one hell of a chess match here, and each move is crucial. It is crucial. Only way to win this game is to fight it on multiple fronts: psychological, emotional, legal, legal, politically, and if need be, physically. 5 different levels of warfare. There are 5 different levels. And by my math, as I set boundaries for myself, what is winnable here? What is the formula here? Well, he who wins on 3 out of the 5 levels, the fourth almost falls into place. And the fifth is nothing more than a cleanup operation after that. So we are definitely winning on 3 of the 5 fronts. We're gonna leave that one there. Moving on to those who was, man, you guys are so self aggrandizing. You are self aggrandizing. You find value and pomposity in everything, a way to look bigger than yourselves in everything, in every scenario and situations, even the most deadly ones and dangerous ones. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Well, someone said to me, there are those who are, for lack of a better word, they use the word proud in the same sentence as them being my enemy. Let's clear some things up. You're not my enemy. You never were my enemy, no matter how large your numbers are or how organized you are. You can be dealt with a wave of a hand and a thought. Know what that means? You can't be my enemy. You can't be my enemy. Now, I can see how you would gain status, as you always have, through your proclivity and willingness to do and say bad things. I can understand that, and you've done well for yourselves. But I just never thought that you would find a way to even get some type of aggrandizement out of that. You think that you're fighting me, or you're proud to be my enemy, or without you as my enemy, I wouldn't be me, or I don't know where your mind is, but you're so self aggrandizing. You need to calm down. I wouldn't give a fuck if you are an individual or a group or the government. You need to, I mean, utilize a little logic here. Straight line thinking is what's needed. Straight line thinking. I don't have no damn enemies in man. Do I do I look like I have an enemy in man when your existence is an allowance at this point? It is. You've made a fatal mistake, both the devil and man. The man wasn't able or did not want to fight the invasion of the spiritual world. And in some cases, they actually, the part conjured and called on the spiritual world. Now they've been taken over by the spiritual world. It's partially man's fault. Man's fault. And it's only a matter of time that God's most, um, his greatest creation on the outside of the angels, his greatest creation on the outside of the angels failed to the point now that everything is inevitable now. It's inevitable. There is simply no way out. And the reason being, there are static and there are static situations and there are situations that are dynamic. Okay? This one is dynamic, meaning it's moving, evolving, because people have brains and minds and ideas, and then they have this strange thing that they like to do, talk to each other. They'll talk to each other on the phone. They'll talk to each other face to face. They'll talk to each other sitting down. Hell, they'll even talk to each other on the elevator, which is where I try not to say anything. I try to focus on anything in there. But anyway, so that makes things dangerous. Because in this big mix of ideas, thinking, and beliefs, which I am just astounded. Is anything left out there alive? Have we not slayed every god? Is there one left standing? Is there one worth this salt? I mean, I'm just being serious. Yeah, I mean, y'all don't like how I came in swinging? I told you, we talk low, but we shoot high, and we came in swinging. We assaulted every belief and every God, and w- we staked the challenge here. And that challenge has been going on almost a year, and no God has showed up. No God has showed up. No belief system has put forth a representative. The demons, well, they did show up, but it didn't go too well when we met. They found out quick what the rules is. And one of the rules is in that spiritual form which I was in, you don't look at me. That demon looked at me. And I fucking chased his ass throughout the spiritual realm and out the spiritual realm and into the physical realm. Like I said, it was a rough night on everybody. I'm gonna tell you something, and I'm drifting a lot. That's because it's not too important what I'm saying here. It is and it ain't. But But you do understand how we got here. We got here from removing the man from the house, the traditional carriers of the history and the knowledge and the understanding of what it was to live as a male child in white world. The female or woman or mother cannot do that, there, thereby handicapping both her and the child, as well as that father's bloodline forever and ever. It's hard to get it back once it's gone. Anyway, where was I? Everything is spiritual. At least I think that's where I was. But anyway, everything is spiritual now. Things are just kind of happening. There ain't no way out of them either. Okay. I mean, I wish there was, but it ain't. There was a time when there was, but it ain't anymore. There ain't any more. It's like I tried to tell you, your world has been taken over. I tried to explain this to you using like graphics, maybe, like, and I even showed you with the how it looks to me. I look at the world how I think I want you to see it, which is naturally due to what you see. But then I showed you how it really looks. Gray, like it's something over it, like it needs a good wipe. It's the same world. It's the same world, but the dimensions are, are not the same world. See? It's like listen, it's like this. Like I tried, man, your dimension is no longer a singularity. A singularity. You're no longer a singularity. There is another world that's been built to mimic your world. Follow me. Everything is in it but you. So that world is now superimposed over you. Saying McDonald, I'm sorry, McDonald's, damn, but it would have hurt anyway. I would have started. But every business, every car, every person, for lack of a better word, I mean, not every person, there's an actual number, but everything that wasn't there is now there because you put it there. You get it? You put it there. You you put it there. But anyway, after they succeeded in taking you over, then that changed the game. See, from my perspective, nothing is real. If You are no longer real, meaning that your consciousness ain't the one that you were born with, then you're no longer real. And if you're no longer real, everything you do or say is also no longer real. Nothing is real then, by that definition. Nothing is real. What you have is the mechanics of reality. Nothing more than that. And that's why I say there's no way out of this but what it is. And this would be a, a time where the good pastor would be putting a chair out there and saying, you know, if you just come up and is there anybody out there who want to be saved today? But like I said, I'm not here to save you. I'm not here to save you at all. I'm not here to bring you peace. I brought you a sword, not peace, but a sword. You were at war when we arrived, and we're at war with you now. Who knows whose side who is on? It's like I read somewhere. Like I said, I'm a history buff. I think it was Benjamin Franklin who said, Ben, am I right about Ben? Was it Benjamin Franklin? Damn it, I can't see the quote in my head with the signature anymore. Well, yes, I can. I don't want to try so hard. I really don't. Anyway, it's not that crucial. But the quote was this country, America, is filled with patriots and tyrants. The problem is we don't know which is which. But now it's starting to reveal itself as to which is which. As the history of this country gives itself up and tells the whole story. Tell the whole story, and it is wow. I mean, we are talking about an entire history rewritten and whitewashed, for lack of a better word. Whitewashed, just like the people in the Middle East did. So once you see the whole picture, then you see that the culture of Southern, uh, what a Southern cultural whiteness is the exact same of the Israelis, both by deed, ideology, and behavior. You can tell them I said it. I am source. I am seven. I am one.